All right, all right, all right. Hey, 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 hey. We made it to another new week, y'all. Yes, we have. We made it. And it's Monday. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Hope you got to have a wonderful Mother's Day weekend if you were a mother, if you were sharing it with your mother in some type of way. But it's Monday. So we got to get back into the thick of things. All right. And it is Make It Make Sense Monday. So, what we're talking about here today, we got to make some sense of it. All right. It is the Noontime My Time Podcast. It is noontime. So, that's when we're going to take a little bit of our time. We're not just going to call it lunchtime. We're going to recalibrate. We're going to refocus. We're going to take a little breath work. And then we're going to dig into this conversation. Now, your mission for this conversation today is common sense. That's it. Common sense. So put your thinking caps on. We're going to make this whole thing make sense for us. We are talking about gold digger dating. Yes, I never thought I would be having this conversation with a title like this. I can't say that I did. Gold digger dating. Ask yourself why. I'm asking myself why. Why some women will only date rich men. We got to make sense of it. It's that whole thing of no romance without finance. All right. Episode 54. We're going to get into the conversation. But before we do, we got to get into this breath work because I think we're going to need it for this one. All right. Y'all ready for it? What I want you to do is inhale to the count of 4. And we're going to hold it for a few seconds. And then we're going to exhale. And we'll hold that for a few seconds. And we'll repeat that a few times. Now, you can close your eyes if you're in a place that you can do that. I don't want you to do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're actually sitting at the desk. If you got your head pods on and you're taking a listen, we'll vibrate with us and listen. But if you can close your eyes, close your eyes. You want to take it a step further, put your hands over your heart and feel that. You are alive. That's you. Let's get into it. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. One more time. Let's inhale. Hold it a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. Doesn't that feel great? It feels real good. At least I feel good. I hope you did the breath work. I hope you did it. You know, I lose some people with the breath work thing. So if you made it through the breath work, well, thank you. But really more than that, it's for you. It's for you. All right. Now, the conversation today is gold digging dating, that gold digger dating style. Yeah. We're going to engage in a conversation here where women are only dating men for money. Not every woman. We're not talking about every woman, but we do know that there is a category of that particular woman. And I'm not here to say that she's wrong. I'm not here to say that she's wrong. I am from the generation that brought you no romance without finance. I was singing it. I was little, but I knew the song and I can respect the words. All right. But we want to find out like what motivates these type of women. And what are the men thinking about this? Did I want to have this conversation? I can't really say I did or I didn't. But, you know, when I'm listening to people who tune in to the conversations that I'm having, I get so many messages on this topic. And it's from a younger demographic. So I've got to have the conversation. I got to be willing to have it. And I do have young adult children who are in this dating pool out here. So I want to know what's going on as well. I want to know what motivates these women. I want to know how these young men are thinking about this. I want to know, is there some validity to these women's argument? So I got a panel here. I got a really cool panel of people who I feel like are at the age demographic to have this conversation. And I know that I want to know what they have to say. So I am going to bring them in here. You guys can unmute yourself. I got Isaac Wilson here with us today. I also have Neat Cruz, who's going to join the conversation, and Corey Bruce. How y'all doing?
Good.
Great.
Good to hear that. We've got a topic here, guys, and so many people want to have this conversation, and I want to thank you for being willing to be on this panel. So, what I want to do is I want to shout out some of the people who've already come into the building here to talk with us and be involved in the conversation. I see Keep Your Faith with Tori. She says, I'm here and my snacks are ready. All right. That's what's going on with you, Tori. I see we've got Mr. OTB22. He says he's ready. All right. That's what's up. Good to have you in the building. Hey, right back to you. Thank you very much. Keep the Faith with Tori said, I never liked that song, No Romance Without Finance. The beat was hot, but those lyrics, yikes. Well, you know what? That's what we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to be talking about. All right. So I'm going to pose a few questions to you guys because I feel like there are arguments for and there are arguments against this particular style of dating, right? So why don't we just kind of start out with what do you think motivates women who only date men for money? Isaac, I'm gonna let you go ahead and start us out in this conversation. What is your thought, man?
I really think it is social media, and just entertainment in general. Before nails were $200. Cardi B, posted something on Twitter that said if that man ain't giving you $200 just to get your nails fixed, then he ain't blah 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 blah. Now all of a sudden you see all the girls saying, "Oh, my nails cost $200." Everybody wants to live that lifestyle, but they don't understand what comes with that lifestyle. When you got a man who's not full of good character, his morals are not right, his ethics are not right, but he giving you the money, might be knocking your head between the wash and the dry, but he's giving you money. He's giving you that $200. So there's a lot that comes with that. And I just think social media and entertainment just kind of brought that on.
Hey, you've got a very valid point because people are just into everybody's personal life and they feel like they can identify with it because it's just right in their face all the time. So you got a point there. Neek, you can unmute yourself. Let me get your take on this. What do you think motivates women who only date men for money? I mean, just purely financial factors. What is your thought on that?
I agree with Isaac. Social media plays a very big part in that. I think it starts really young. This generation here really don't have any young adults to look up to, but rappers, baby mamas, and Kardashians. So it's kind of like when you see these type of women and you see the attention they get, you want to be them. And the only way you can get there is funding.
Wow. But here's my thing. At such a young age, like I'm talking about this demographic that is, let's say, from mid-20s to mid-40s. And I think mid-40s is really taking it too far. So let's just say that 20 and 30 age demographic. Why is that so important at such a young age, you think?
Like I said, it starts very young. A lot of things were taken because I'm 36. So a lot of things when I was growing up was taken away at a very young age for us to look forward to, for us to, I'll say, look up to. Like we have our generation that we looked up of women that we looked up to. Like I said, behind me, it's really kind of how can you get to these certain places and how can you get to them fast? How can you look a certain way? It stopped being about education. It stopped being about your own money.
Okay.
And it stopped being about, working hard to get somewhere.
Okay. It seemed like it's just being really, really rough on the men here, Corey. I mean, I need you to come in here and help us make this thing make some sense, brother. Like, really, why are these women motivated by this? What's your take on it?
I mean, I still can agree with Isaac and Nick about, just the whole factor about the social media thing. That's like real big especially with this generation. I feel like when we was growing up, when MySpace and all that stuff was starting to take off, but anything before that, we didn't get to see everybody's lifestyle and how they live and how they operate with men and women. Like, I'm pretty sure it was some women back in the day who was still like, you know, no, they wouldn't date you without you having any money or giving them money and stuff like that. But it wasn't seen, it wasn't heard a lot. Like now with all the social media and the love and hip hop and the shows, they're putting it out there. Like I'm
Mhm.
dating this type of guy, I'm not dating this type of guy without this, without that. He has to have this, he has to have that. And then they showing the examples of these guys who are just giving them all the lavish life and all that. But like Isaac said, you don't know what's behind the scenes when it comes with that.
I
Because
get it.
you heard a lot of women, they're happy. They're not happy, but their man gives them everything when it comes to finances. They
Yeah.
got the home, they got the cars, they got this, but they can't go anywhere.
Wow.
He's like over jealous, or he beats on them when he get home, or he's not even home none of the time, so she's always by herself. But that's what they ask for. That's what they want. That's how they want to portray it. Like, so it's kind of the same thing as like with drug dealing. You see the good side of everything, but you don't see the bad. So I kind of feel like that's how it is with these women and stuff these days. And also too, I kind of feel like some people do mimic how they was raised.
True.
And some girls do have women in their household who, that's what they're about.
I
And
hear
so
you.
as they get older, they want to follow in those footsteps.
I
And
hear you. But I
the,
mean,
the other
go ahead, Isaac.
the other thing too is don't get me wrong. I don't think a woman should go out here and just, oh, because he got good potential, I'm gonna go talk to him or what a case and be. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I think you should date someone who has a, they got their own car, they got their own house, they got a job, they know how to save. Yeah, you date that person that got money, yeah, but you don't date them for the money and saying the first week I meet you, oh, I got a bill due. Oh, if I say no because I don't know and I just met you, and I say no, oh, now I'm broke, and oh, you need to go talk to somebody else. That like, huh? Like I don't know you. Like I don't understand that. Or what a case can be, or even if it's a month away. Like I just don't understand it. So I'm not saying date a broke dude, but don't date somebody for money.
I
Like,
got you. Hey, we've got comments going on in the chat
yeah.
already. I think this is how do we pronounce her name here? Torianda? Well, she's saying who wants to date a man or woman that doesn't have a job?
Mm.
I hope I didn't butcher your name too much, but I see you in here, Miss Johnson, and I gotta tell you,
You call her T.
okay, we gonna call you T. T. Listen, who wants to date a man or woman who doesn't have a job? She got a very, very, very valid point. Nobody wants to do that. You want to know where someone's goals are. They're striving for something, what their excellence is. And you're right, Isaac. You can't really date potential when you're really, really young. Yes, you're young, but how serious are those relationships? I'm not sure. I see we got Reggie Scales here in the comments. He said, "Awesome topic. It's definitely a phenomenon, and but absolutely not new. Just socially exposed more in the open now. Grandma and older mothers always stated, ain't nothing going on but the rent. You got to have a job
That's
if you want to
true.
be with me." And I understand. I'm from that generation. I remember the song. I absolutely do. I see Miss Tori, keep the faith with Tori here. She says, "Yes, Isaac, I know someone personally who was being financed, but was getting her head knocked and being cheated on. That's a really big issue. We don't want that, whether you in it for the money or not. You dig what I'm saying?" K Rose is in here. She says, "I think lack of financial stability and not knowing how to and not wanting to gain that stability on their own plays a role in it as well." All right.
Yeah.
I think you bring up a very valid point here. I can't say that you're wrong about that. I see that K. Rose also says social media makes it look easy. So if young women are being offered this lifestyle, they're going to hit that easy button and take it. Like Corey said, they don't know anything that's going on. You're right. You guys are in here. You're absolutely right about this. And I think we're basically having that same, we're coming to the same conclusion, but we're having this conversation. So I'm wondering if the conversation and the idea of this conversation is more prevalent than it actually is in the real dating scene, because social media can be that way as well. Because social media just kind of be perpetrating the idea of this and pushing it in people's face, or that's the content that people are seeing, because that's what they choose to watch. But in their real dating life, this is not really the circumstances. What do y'all think about that?
I would agree. I would totally agree. I think that there are a lot of women on social media that plays that role of, oh, you got to have this and got to have that, and that money got to be blah, 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 blah. But they got a man that don't make that much money to take care of them, and they're at home all dandy fine with Earl. But they're going to try to get that money out of Isaac, or get that money out of Mike over there, because, that's what she wants to do. She wants to play around like that. But she ain't about to leave Earl. Cause Earl got the pension, and Earl got the buys her the car every month and keep her right and keep the household right. She ain't got to worry about Earl, cause that's the best that Earl probably can do,
Yeah.
But over here, it looks like she has this fairy tale land, but her life really boring in the real world, cause she go to work and come back home and be with Earl and be happy and fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think that happens a lot.
Okay. Anybody else got want to chime in on that one?
I thought I was gonna let Neat go second. Commenting on what Isaac said, and also the other listener Kay said, when it comes to social media and being realistic, I feel like from the beginning of times, a lot of men have always wanted eye candy. And so let's be real about that. Most women who look a certain type of way, they present themselves a certain type of way or whatnot. A lot of men are going to cater to them. That's why their mindset can be like that. But see, that's not always reality. So I think for a lot of a lot of us who are just normal people and not on Love and Hip Hop and on TV and all, not the stars and stuff like that, that's not their reality.
Right.
You don't look like those other women. And that's why a lot of women
Right.
try to go out and look like that. I mean, that's just the truth. You can't expect all your bills paid, but you're not Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B or other people or somebody, real fine and stuff like that. So it's like your mindset can't be the same as what we see on TV and the social media, and especially Instagram and other just like TV shows and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of women get that mindset mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because they're a
then
woman,
that
they can have that.
But then that goes back to what I said previously. People look at these other women lifestyles and that's what they want. So they go and they get these surgeries. They go and try to fix their life to have what they call it a high maintenance life or a soft life, just to have that access to that money that they want. But then a lot of times, what I've noticed is men lead with money a lot of times. Y'all lead with money, and then when we ask for it, you don't want to give it.
Well, we
That's
lead
right.
with it because if we leading with it, that means that what we think about you sometimes as well now. So we understand that you're gonna take this money, you're gonna let me get what I want. So it's easier for us to do it that way if we're not willing to deal with you in another way. But if I ain't coming at you like that, don't come at me like that. But we get
Okay.
women, regardless, they still come at you regardless of how you are.
But
Or what it keeps it be. So
yeah, but a lot of times you already know how that woman is. You can look at a woman and tell that when you approach her, you're going to have a certain amount of money in your bank. So when you approach her and then you try to humble her into accepting just what you're giving her and not what she is used to, like that comes off as like, well, you know what I was about when you met me. You can't get mad at, I'm asking for money when you approached me. You knew who I was, what I was about, and you probably already looked at my page and seen the other guy that I've dated. If you ain't approaching me with that, then why are you approaching me?
Listen.
Hello.
But
Hold on,
people,
no, Nika's right, but see, a lot of men, they try to go above their tax bracket too. Like you can look at certain women and be like, yeah, I already know what type of time she on. I'm not even approaching her because I already see what type of men that she deal with.
Well, I see we got Shaquetta here. She said Neek has said something. She said something just now, and she absolutely has. And I want to, before we get too far beyond a comment that T made here in the comments, she asked this question right here. What about when men ask for sex early on?
I knew that was
So
coming.
it's like men are coming wanting something. So my interpretation of this is, if men are coming asking for something early on, then why can't women be asking for something early on?
Sex is a fair exchange.
thank you.
Go ahead and say
Sex
that again.
is
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
sex is a fair exchange. If you have sex with someone, y'all are both getting the same thing out of it.
Ooh.
So to ask for something over which you're already getting something, you're already getting pleasure out of it, and they're getting pleasure out of it.
Let's hope that is true.
Well, I mean, if you don't,
I get what you're saying, Tanya. I get what you're saying, Tanya. I get what you're saying.
if you don't get any pleasure out of it, then why are you doing it? That's on you.
But you don't know until after.
You're right. You don't know in the beginnings. You're absolutely right. But I respect what you're saying here, and it was a little shocking for me hearing that, particularly from a young woman. And I like that you said that, because I feel like people need to hear that. She said that sex is a fair exchange, and very well, I get where she's coming from. Now, I made a little joke here, and I said, well, let's hope so. And that's still, on some levels, that's still very serious, because you may not be. And then you might just need to move on. And I don't think a few dollars is going to add anything to that. All right. I see the comments are steadily coming through. So let's take a little moment so we can see what people got going on here in the comments. I see Jamie Robinson here. What's up? Cornelius is in the building. If you all like the theme song and the music in the beginning of the show here, yes, that's Cornelius. He says, can give a soulmate a salary cap or physical limitations? Can you do that? Can you give a soulmate a salary cap or physical limitations? They said that's easier said than done. But y'all get what the brother's saying? Can you do that?
Can you give a soulmate a salary cap? Meaning,
I guess like put a fee on that. Like,
no, you can't.
Well,
so
no,
if
because some
woman is
women,
asking for something, like,
some women
why
do.
can't she get that?
Some women do. You can't put. Some women will. Full disclosure, had somebody the other day. Hey, if you want to talk to me, I'm thinking, $500 every time we have sex. I mean, I spend time with you, but every time we have sex, $500. She's putting a cap. She's telling me, when you come to the table and I come over, that's $500 every time. So if I want to get up with her twice a month, I already know what the fee is. I already know what it is monthly. I mean, that's a cap. Might not be my soulmate, but some women do cap themselves and go and tell you what it is up front.
Wait a minute now, because I'm
That's
a mother.
prostitution.
I got a question, because see, I'm not in these streets like the young people is. So I'm clutching my pearls right now. She said you got to put $500 on the table right there.
Right.
So my question is, because this is sounding a little different to me, like I know of a service that can be provided that you pay for, and that sounds a little prostitutionish to me.
Bingo. But they don't see it as that. They see you having sex, and that's what you're supposed to do as a man, is take care of the woman that you're sexing, or take care of the woman that you are, whatever the case may be. So whatever I ask for, that should be handed to you. But they don't see it as, I just had sex with you, and then I just went and bought you that $500 pocketbook. I just had sex with you, and I just gave you $500 towards your car payment. I just had sex with you, and I just paid you same thing.
Well, I have a question for you then. Are you paying like the car note and buying these purses out of the kindness of your heart, or is that a requirement? Because if it's a requirement, then that's just a lady of the night. If you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart, then that's a gift.
Right.
Well, that's what we're saying. We're saying let us do it out the kindness of our heart. That means don't ask, don't let it be expectation. Don't say we're supposed to do it. If I just met you, then let's get there. Let me get there and let me do it on my own. But don't, 2 weeks in, oh, well, can you pay for my light bill? Can you pay my light bill? It's $400. So now all of a sudden your light bill $400. What you did
Wow.
last month. Like, it's stuff like that. And it keeps, once you do it once, it keeps going. A month later, oh, well, I need this, I need that. Can you do this? Can you do that? So that's the expectation for some of these women. So it is a
Wow.
service. It is a lady of the night kind of thing.
Then
Okay,
you need to
y'all listen.
remove yourself from those type of women.
Indeed. I see we got a comment here that is very, very interesting. I want to read this. Reggie Scales. He says he's actually talking back with T Johnson here in the chat. And he said, what about them? Because she asked a question about as it pertains to sex here. But he asked, what about them? Is men income or finances equal to women's sexual organs? Is that what we're suggesting? And he's laughing. Only conversation, no offense, just trying to comprehend the statement and meaning. So he wants to know if the man's finances is equal to a woman's sexual organs. Well, I'm gonna just go ahead off the bat and say no. But let me say this. I feel very valuable and I think very highly of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I am also not a woman who is making a dollar amount request for that, because it is of my opinion that you may not be able to have that type of value because I value myself that much. But I want to go with what you guys are saying in here, where I don't necessarily know if I want to let me see, how do I want to say this, because I don't want to be offensive here. My time is valuable. Let me just say it like that. My time is valuable. And I would think that someone that I am dating, the things that they are doing for me, if they involve finance or any type of monetary type of thing, it's not going to be because I'm asking or requesting. It is more going to be because that is who he is and that is what he is going to be doing. So I don't know if that's where young women's heads is. I don't know. What were you about to say, Isaac?
Oh, I wasn't about to say anything, but I do see a comment in here that I want to address with Adriana Campbell. She said, what type of women are you attracted to? Listen, the kind of women I'm attracted to, it's totally different. I think Corey will tell you that. That's my best friend. So he will tell you the woman I'm attracted to ain't got nothing to do with the whole money thing. I don't understand why who I am not flashy in no sense. I don't flash no money. I don't do lavish lifestyles and trips, but it just seems to me that those type of women flock to me, and I don't understand why at all. I don't know what they think. I don't know what it is. It just happens.
Okay.
Don't know.
Well, I see Kay Rose here. She says some men initially offer a lifestyle that they don't want to maintain just to get that eye candy. Then when all the women want is money, it becomes a problem. Now, this is true too. And there are men, and particularly of a certain tax bracket, who definitely want women. They want that eye candy. And so they are doing these things, and they want to be with this beautiful woman, like this aesthetic, what she brings to the table, her aesthetic is what he's going for. And that's what he wants. And so he's got to have a budget for that, I guess. Is that what you guys are telling me?
He does. Going back to the question about the one that the guy asked about, should the money value equate to her sexual organs and stuff like that? That's
Right.
just the house that we live in now, because a lot of women will say yes. And it's more about what can you do for them that equates to the sexual organs. It might not be the dollar amount, the dollar value on it, but it's more of, okay, like, what can you do for me? We're not about to be laying around. Like, you never take me on dates. We're not doing anything at all. You don't get my oil changed, or you don't get my nails done and stuff like that. And you think you're going to get some.
Right.
And so a lot of men have to adapt and adjust to that.
And that's that. This whole sex thing is very, very interesting, and when you put the money into it, the conversation just becomes very, very different. Now that we're in it and I'm hearing what's going on here, it really is shocking. And Neek made a point. She said that sex is a fair exchange. Now, there are some people in here who don't agree with that. I see Craig Boatwright says, nah, sex is not a fair exchange. And also, we have Adriana in here who said it should be a mutual exchange, but it depends on the intentions of the person. So I get it because some people do have ill intentions. You are going to have that person who's going to come out flashing that cash, and it's unfortunate that there are men out here who are doing that, and it seems that they're just kind of messing up the game and making it a little difficult for some people who are trying to be sincere. But what is your comment on that, Neek?
Sex is a very fair exchange. The problem is
why do you feel that way? I mean, I realize because hold to your convention. You're doubling down on it.
Yeah. Sex is a fair exchange because outside of, and I think a lot of people go into it with an expectation. Like, okay, if I have sex with him, this is what I'm going to get out of it. Or if I have sex with her, this is what I'm going to get out of it. And you need to remove that expectation and let it be just what it is. Because to be quite honest, a lot of our grandmas and moms was like, oh, okay, you shouldn't have, dry pockets in a wet towel. And I kind of put women into the perspective of, okay, well, I guess I should never be broke as long as I have this between my legs. And you don't realize that, like, you're kind of selling yourself. Whereas back in the days, a lot of these women had to sell themselves to get into positions where they were with men that would take care of them because they didn't have jobs like that for them to make money that we are able to make today. Today, like, I don't need someone financially like that. So if I have sex with you, that's a fair exchange. I'm not broke. I don't need you to put $20 in my hand for lunch today. Right. If you want to do it, you can do it, but I don't need it.
Absolutely. I get it because how I know it, I don't know if you all are still using this term, but they used to call that sugar daddies.
Yep, sugar daddies, yep.
When I was younger and we'd go out and, we'd see the sugar daddies at the bar, they just buying your drinks, sending things over. And I'm like, Papa can't do too much with the young girl right here, but it is what it is. But the sugar daddies was out there, trying to do their little sugaring.
At the gas pump, meeting at the gas pump, see the old man get out with the young girl,
right.
Pumping her gas. Yeah.
All of that. I see that we have Kimberly St. Clair here in the comments. She says, I have a friend who openly dates for money, but isn't looking for love, and she dates in that arena. She dates wealthy men. They have a full understanding of the arrangements. These are men, she says, most are divorced, flashy, and just want an arm piece. She has no other expectation, love, relationship, sex, just dinner, trips, luxurious gifts. And she's booked and busy. She is 7 years abstinence and says she wants to break from frivolous dating and sex and took it. Wow. Y'all hear that?
I want to know how old these men are. Like that's so hard to believe.
Yeah, that's hard to believe if she young.
Well,
these men in their 40s and 50s and they've been married and stuff like that. Now they just don't want to have sex. They just want to fly you out to all these different places and stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's men out there who do that, but that's wild.
They're ugly and they've never touched women.
Say that again, please.
They're ugly and they've never touched women before. So you can get away with just sending them a picture of you smiling. You can get away with just, sending them a little nude here and there, and they will send you money.
That's wild.
Well, I'll tell you something. I want to say something to this. I'm sure there probably is that type of introverted type of person out there like that. However, we know that that's not going to be all. And I have to tell you, believe it or not, there are several relationships that just do not have anything to do with sex. There is an accomplished person and men out here who may not be looking for that. They really do exist. They want to have companionship. Some people want to have dinner and be able to look across the table from someone else of the opposite sex. You have friends. You can go out with your boys. You can hang out with your boys. This, that, and the other. But sometimes you want to do a little fine dining. You might want to take a trip. That exists, guys. I mean, beyond these early days of this high sexual tension and drive that younger people have, which is much higher than older people. You got to get to that age to know. But what I'm saying is that can exist. I don't want to say that it has to be someone who is not necessarily attractive. And what I find key in what Kimberly said here, if I could put the comment up here again, she says, they have a full understanding and arrangement. So this really has to do with communication. These are people who are communicating with each other. Like this is not people who are trying to take advantage of anyone. Just out the door, they're having a conversation. So number one, the maturity of the conversation has a lot to do with their arrangement. So I can see this happening. And then you have to understand like what tax bracket are they living in? So that's how it's going to be. If a person has money, when they take you out to dinner, naturally, they're going to eat where they eat, which are expensive restaurants. When they take trips, that's what they do. So you're going on, a nice trip. You're getting luxury gifts because that is their lifestyle. You don't have a particular lifestyle and then buy someone something that's outside of that necessarily. You dig what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I
I
agree.
would like to add this, because I've seen one of the comments where the girl said it is, it's not a fair exchange. It's not fair. And to respond to you, it is fair. You should never put a price on what's between your legs, because once you put a price on it, that's how men will view you. And if
Well,
they know all they got to do is pay this price to get you, that
some will.
automatically, yeah, some will. And I'm not even gonna say some, because it can last for years and years where you have a price and your price can increase or your price can decrease. But then
Yeah.
you give somebody else the power to show how much they value you or how
Mhm.
much you are worth. And that's not fair to you. So you should never, never give someone that much power.
Respect. But because I understand where you're coming from with that, I understand your side of that. But I got to tell you, I understand both sides of it because it could very well not be a fair exchange. I mean, you can love someone, and there are many people who are in relationships and marriages that are very valuable to them, and they love the person, and they have a family, and they're being taken care of. There's nothing wrong with any of the dynamics of their family life, but their sexual life is horrible. So it's not a fair exchange. So with the idea that she is laying down with her husband or has to sleep with her husband and or wife, because this can go both ways, but they're not being fulfilled,
Oh,
So that's why I feel like people are very openly saying to you, like, no, it's not a fair exchange because it could not be. But I do agree that the idea of it should be. You dig what I'm saying? I see
yeah,
that,
but
keep the
that's
faith, Victoria, she
settling.
said. I'm sorry?
That's settling. That means you settled for the price, not the enjoyment of sex. You settled for a price of, I'm going to live this type of life. And if
No, no,
that's
no,
what
no,
you're
no.
settling,
I
go
get
ahead.
you. I get you. But see, there's just too many dynamics that go into that to kind of make it equal. That's why I say I understand the idea of what you're saying. I dig that. And it should probably be that. But circumstances just does not allow in every case. It doesn't. Think about just like the example I gave where, they've got a great family, a wonderful family, and the sex life is horrible. Or let's put this in the mix. Okay, let's say that you're involved in an incredible relationship. You've been married for years, or whatever the case may be, and one of the partners has a medical issue. Okay, so there is no balance there. It is not equal. So there's several things that could play into that. But we're going to move past that particular topic because we can agree to disagree. And we can understand both sides of that story here. I see that Craig Boatwright says, I've been around for a minute, so no disrespect, but I've seen women live the life of no romance, no finance, putting too much value into sex, end up being known for pay for play. That's what we're talking about. That can very well happen. I see K Rose here. She says the streets are not for me, and I'm not just saying that because my mama conceded. Okay, my mama conceded. Well, I'm glad you're not in these streets like that. I'm glad you're not. I don't think your mama would like that either. K Rose, listen, I can tell. That's keep the faith with Tori. She's saying that. We also have Reggie Scales in here. He's saying the value of sex is the viewpoint of the person wanting it or the person who is using it as a leverage to gain a desired result. It seems all a game to the people playing it. I believe it. Listen, you're saying something very serious here. He's got a very valid point, guys. He said, the value of the sex is really the viewpoint of the person who wants it and the person who's using it for leverage. It really is between those people.
That's true.
Yeah. I think I want to ask this question here because, see, we're having so many challenges with this. So what do you guys think is going to take for us to kind of deal with some of the negative stereotypes that women are having who date men for money and men who are doing it? And how are we going to get out of that and promote like more of a positive attitude towards, women's agency and their independence? How can we figure some ways out of this? Can we?
I hate to sound like just a Debbie Downer, but I really just feel like, if a woman is comfortable and she's doing her thing with that man giving her money, she's really not going to get out of that until something drastic happens and she says, I don't want to do it this way anymore, or whatnot. So she's not probably getting the love and not probably getting the thing. But again, ain't no violence happening, ain't no nothing happened. He giving her the money, whatever it can be. But there comes a point in somebody's life where they actually want to be loved. They actually want to be nurtured. They actually want that feeling of security. They want all of that stuff at some point in their life. But they have to get to that point. And I think that's when that change. That's when that changes. Other than that, they're going to keep on doing this thing of, giving the money, and the men that know the women like that can't afford to do it or that want to do it, they're going to keep on doing it because it's quick access to some some sex. So I don't think it's not something we can do to change. You got to do that within yourself.
I got you. I see we got Cody Cree here. She says, we are talking about women that ask for money or expect money. But what about the men that approach women with, can I pay you to go on a date with me? Or how much to have sex or get a video of you? Men are now very bold with asking women these questions as well. I'm saying this from personal experience with men approaching me that way. So men are doing that out here, guys?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think that stems from women being bold about, if you're gonna ask a question, I'm gonna ask mine because you've done it. Just like we're saying that men have done it, men are doing it. Women are doing it. They're doing it. I mean, you can say "Hey, beautiful" to a girl and she's seeing your Cash App. You know why she felt comfortable doing that? She felt comfortable doing that because some man on the other end, when she did it before, they obliged and they sent the money to her. So when that man asked, some woman sent the pictures or had the sex or went on the date. So they're going to do what they're allowed to do.
Goodness gracious. I see Craig Boat right here. He says, why do you put a price on your sex? That's wild AF to me. Hey, listen, we're a different age, brother. We're a different age. I see Kay Rose here. She says, I think that when women are independent and can finance themselves, that should be celebrated more. Allowing women to know that they can hold a secure relationship is important.
I love it. Love that.
We're here for it. We're absolutely here for that. I also see that Craig Boat right here says, women who date men for money end up being controlled and consider them as
There you go.
property, nothing more.
Boom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speak on that, Corey.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
No,
agreed.
we see it a lot. So I feel like, some women do need to look at the examples that came before them and ask those other women questions like, what comes along with it? Like this whole thing that's going on Facebook now about this, dating 50-50, not dating, but paying the bills 50-50 and stuff like that. That's been the topic going on like for the past 4 or 5 years. A lot of women want the men to pay 100% of the bills. But also you have to be realistic and ask yourself what comes with that. All men don't think the same. And I'm not saying just because, a man's paying the bills, he got the right to cheat and stuff like that. But a lot of times it comes with that. It comes with cheating, control, abuse, all of that. You have no say because he's financing your whole entire life. And a lot of men have the means to do that.
Okay. What is your thought on that, Neek?
I have to agree with them. A lot of women who look like they're in this very comfortable lifestyle where they don't have to lift a finger, or they may work every day, but their check goes in their pocket. They're able to do what they want when they want from what you but he may be out there cheating with everything that moves, embarrassing her. She may not even see him like that. But
Okay.
when but when you see them taking a picture together, he may be ignoring her. She may live a very miserable life.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
Right.
truthfully, she can't question it.
And she can't say anything.
Wife, but if he decides to leave, then that's on. She has to deal with that because that's what comes with it. And I think a lot of women don't realize that when it comes to that. Oh, I want somebody to pay all my bills. Like, I want somebody to finance me in every way possible. Like it's more than just the money when it comes to that.
Okay. I got you. And I see we got Ty Davis chiming in here. He says, but I also feel when you put a price tag on something that's supposed to be priceless, it becomes worthless, in my opinion. The brother's saying something here.
It really is.
Brother is saying something.
That's what I said. Once you put a price on your sex, like, you have to understand that you have now given someone else the control of what value it is.
Mm.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Because you have to think about, essentially what it sounds like from a lot of these things that we saw in the older generations coming into now, things were really about a financial security, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so people wanted to have some sense of stability. So I imagine women who are putting this stuff out front, they're really trying to find some ways of feeling financially secure. And they want to have some comfort in their relationship. So I can understand not wanting to date a bro brother.
Mm-hmm.
You really shouldn't want to. Someone should have enough in themselves not to even be in a situation of being that. Things happen in life. There's peaks, there's valleys, there's highs, there's lows. But and it's a lot of people who feel that if a man can't provide for a woman, then he's not really serious about a relationship. What do y'all think about that? If a man can't provide for a woman, is he really ready for a serious relationship? Should that be a factor?
I hate that. I ain't gonna say I hate it. I dislike that narrative of providing. You provide for your household. I can't provide for, well, I said I can't in that sense, but just in making it make sense. I'm gonna provide for my household and your household, but you ain't doing that for me. I'm expending the money to your household and mine, and you ain't doing nothing for me but just giving me sex. Well, hell, I'm doing that for you too.
Wait a minute.
So
So are you talking about in respect to just the dating scenario?
I'm saying dating. I mean, women like to say that when you're dating, like,
Mhm.
oh, you provide for the woman. Yeah, but you don't live at my house.
Got you.
So what do you want me to provide? Want me to pay the bills at your house and mine? I just got a sense of when people are speaking of providing, that means that you're in a committed relationship, and we're trying to take this thing, somewhere else. Like we're heading towards a engagement, or we're living together, or some sense like that. Yeah, I provide for my household. You need anything, you living under my roof, we got you. We're in a committed relationship, and it's love, and we there. I got you. But if we're casually dating, and you say, I thought a man supposed to provide. That ain't got nothing to do with that. We dating.
Right. Right.
But
Right. Right. Well, I tell you
but
what.
I will say this though, if a man's not I'm not going to say 100% financial stability. If he like doesn't have a job, he's broke, he shouldn't be dating. Period.
Right. I
Well,
agree with that.
we agree. Let me do some snaps and claps for that one. Amen.
I agree to
Yes.
that. I agree.
I agree. I agree. And what I also want to say is because, and Neek touched on this a little bit. She said, excuse me, women of the past, they weren't in situations like a lot of women are now with their independence, with the wealth gap where, they're out here, they're being educated, they're having jobs, and they're able to take care of themselves. So financial independence have really given women more agency in relationships, right?
Mhm.
So that's allowing them to have more choices without worrying about money. And if they're not worrying about money and a guy is coming along and wants to be in this relationship, she's doing her own thing, and he wants her to come in and cook for him and to clean and do this type of thing. So what is your take on that? Because if she's out here making money and doing her thing and she's providing something into the household, is she responsible for your belly?
Do they
No.
live together?
Yeah, do they? Yeah,
Well, they
like she's
can't.
not responsible.
They could or could not, but why I say that is because if we're talking just kind of in the same situation where Isaac is talking about, well, I'm not supposed to be taking care of two households, but how important is that? Do you really want to know if she can cook, or should that be a factor in thinking about this will be a woman uh, that I could look into having a serious relationship with? Does that factor, or should it?
Well, me personally, I don't believe it should. If you live separately, you should know how to cook for yourself. I'm not your mother.
That's true.
I shouldn't have to come over and make you a meal to prove that I'm worthy of a relationship, because everybody does not know how to cook. Everybody does not know how to clean. Everybody doesn't know how to pay bills correctly. It's always, something that somebody lacks. So you can't look at something as, oh, okay, well, can she cook it clean? I need her to come to my house and see if she can cook good or if she can clean good. She may have a dope personality. She may be a really good partner. Why would you push her to the side because she don't know how to make spaghetti? Like that kind of like that's kind of ignorant to me. Like really kind of stupid. And like I
Okay.
hate these type of conversations when you start going into when people go into, oh well, these women today don't cook and clean like the women back in the days. The women back in the days, all they had to do was cook and clean. They didn't
Right.
have anything to do. Like they couldn't really get jobs that, like I said, we could now. Now I'm out here working a regular 8 hour a day job, making the same, if not more money than a lot of men are. Like, can you cook? What are you bringing to the table? Are you cooking? Do you know how to clean? Do you know how to
Hmm.
wash your own clothes? Like, I need to know, if I move in with you, we can tackle this as a team.
Okay. I
and that
see.
and that and that and that and that is my point, that things should be looked at as a team. And you can't expect me to be my granddaddy when you ain't gonna give me half of my grandma. So you can't
Oh,
expect me to
sure.
be the handyman, to change your oil, to wash your car, to pay all the bills, but you ain't gonna get in and put me a meal on the table. Or
Mm-hmm.
you ain't gonna iron my shirt, or you ain't gonna wash my clothes. Like, you cannot give me the expectation of my grandfather and be half of my grandmother.
I
You
got you.
can't do that. And today's women want that. I say both of you should have some independency about yourselves. My wife is not gonna be cooking every day. That's not her job. I can get in the kitchen and cook us a meal too. I shouldn't have to plan every vacation and pay for it. My wife should say, hey, baby, we're going this way. Hey, I got the trip this time. There should be a partnership. Even if I pay the mortgage and pay all the bills in the house, there should be a level of a partnership. And you should see that growth in dating. Dating, let me get the bill at the fourth date or whatever the case should be. Oh, let me send some money to get his haircut. At the same time, he should be, hey, you know what? Let me send her $100 to go get a petty or something like that. There should be a level of a partnership if both of you are aligned and
Respect.
should be dating each other.
Absolutely. Reggie Scales said, "Get him, Isaac." Oh yeah, I agree with a lot that you're saying here. And my thing is this: it is about having that conversation. You know, what you said just now. You packed a whole lot into that. And so I feel like if people come together and they have that conversation, you kind of get to decide. There doesn't necessarily have to be gender roles, but you kind of know what you're good at, and you kind of know if I want to handle this time because you're in a situation where you're able to do that. And truly, as keep the faith with Tori here, she agrees and says like partnership is key, and that is it. That partnership is what we're talking about here. That's what people need to understand. I see we got Voodoo Child here in the building. He says, a man's worth is not measured by a woman's expectation. Come on here, Voodoo. Mm, I heard what you're saying. I heard what you're saying. And Craig Boatwright said, that's right, Ike. Oh, yeah. We got Reggie Scales here in the comment. He said, I hate to disagree with this young lady completely. Men and women have assets and liabilities that we view in the dating process. If men value cooking in a wife or relationship, get that. But if women like handyman, get that. If he or she is what? If he or she not like that for you, simple. Well, I gotta agree with that too.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
comes to having that conversation. Definitely.
Yep.
All right. I see we have, who is this? Taquan here says, what are the woman's role in a relationship or dating situation? Man, I think we've been saying that's going to be that conversation that you guys have. How do you guys want to respond to Taquan here?
There's really no. I think it's what you said. Like you got to sit at the table. What works at your house may not work across the street. You know, some men pay all the bills in their house and their woman like it. Some men pay all the bills in the house and their woman say, no, I don't want you to do that. I'm going to get me a job because you're not about to hold that over me. Whatever
Right.
works for your household, whatever the expectation is. You might not, your woman can't cook. I know some men do all the cooking in their house because their woman
Right.
don't know how to cook, but their woman can clean the hell out of a house though. And so he doesn't bother with that. So whatever works for you and your household, and you put that expectation on each other in a conversation.
That's right. In Voodoo Child here, he says, attitudes have changed, morals and values haven't. They haven't. And really what's changed so much, and we kind of talked about it at the very top of the show, is social media, guys. Social media is guiding this conversation more than the people that we know in real life and in our lives. Because I have to tell you now, I can't speak for your particular age demographic, but I can speak for mine. I am around and among a peer group of people who are married and have family values, and these topics of this particular conversation is just not what is happening in our circles. It just isn't. And although we are aware of the conversations, just like a lot of the younger people, because it is online, I think people have to know that social media is also entertainment. You've got to look at this thing as TV. You cannot believe this. The thing that social media does is it allows everyone to be their best selves, right? You get to create whoever you want to be online. And unfortunately, because you get to create that character, because it is a different world, the internet is a whole different world, and people need to come to some understanding of that. You cannot take this as truth. It has such a high level of entertainment. You get to be who you want. You can lie about it, and it's happened so much until it's leaked into politics, it's leaked into everything that we believe. So people are just feeding us narratives that they want us to believe. You got to step out of that. What are your guys' take on that?
I agree with you on that, Tanya. It's you got to take people at face value for who they show you while you're standing in front of each other, and not what you see online. But I've gotten some of these women now, and some of them I've gotten them face to face, and they're who they are. But like you said, most of them most of them are
Mhm.
not what they portray, as you see on this. So take people at face value for what they show you. One thing that I learned this, someone said this about 2 weeks ago. Fruits don't lie on a tree. We understand that an apple tree is an apple tree because we see that the tree produces apples. That's how we understand this apple tree. So when people show you who they are, that's the fruit that they bear. So they might not show you what they bear on social media. See what they show you in front of your face. And as you guys get to develop something, that's the fruit that you believe, not what you see on social
Absolutely.
media.
I agree with you. Guys, listen, I can't believe it, but an hour has passed already. We have rolled right through the lunchtime hour so quickly. Can't believe it. But I feel like we were kind of able to we did more than dip our toe in these waters here, but I certainly feel like there is more to the conversation we could have, and there's a larger conversation that we could always have. At the end of the day, I feel like we all come to agree that we just got to sit down and talk to each other. You know, don't take what you see on social media at face value and try to put that into your lifestyle. I tell you what, guys, we're gonna have to have this conversation again. How you guys feel about maybe we might have to make some sense of it on another conversation.
Most definitely. Let's get it.
I agree for it. I'm all here for it.
All right, all right. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Neek. Thank you for coming in and bringing your comments to the table. Corey, I appreciate you as well, sir. As well as I appreciate you, Isaac. I couldn't have had this conversation without you guys. So thank you so much. And thank you for everybody who is in the chat. You guys are the conversation. And I'll put up a few more of your conversations right now. I see that Cody Cree says communication is key. Absolutely. That's what I think we need to understand. And I'm going to let that be the last comment that I put up for today. We got to talk to each other, guys. And that's why we're having these type of platforms. That's why we're having these type of podcasts, because we see a lot of the other stuff. But if we don't dig in and have the conversation with each other, it's just going to be a lot of misunderstandings. And as you can understand, we can also have a conversation where we don't have to totally agree on everything. We don't have to, but we can be open to hear a different perspective. And we should be. We should be. We're not all the same. All right. So listen up, guys. I got to get out of here. I know some of you got to get back on that clock. It's noontime, lunchtime, and really it is over. So before you get back into that work day, what I'm going to have to do for you, what I always do, is I'm going to say, come on, let's breathe this thing out. Let's do some breath work. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold a few seconds. Exhale. And hold that a few seconds. Inhale one more time. Hold a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. And don't you feel great? I feel great. I appreciate you guys. And if nobody gave you a smile today, if nobody smiled today, you just close your eyes and give yourself a big smile and see how that feels for you. All right? Y'all be great out here. That's what we do. One love, y'all.